Hello, Internet. This is Nephente. And I seem to have some lag going on. I do have a chat box, and hopefully you can hear me. If you can't, write something. If you can, write something. Well, here we are. Not at the end of the road, I wouldn't say, but at the end of my first stream season. Who would have thought? Hello, Jane. Hello, Sylvia. Hello, GK. It's really cool, actually, to have gotten to know a few of you through these streaming sessions. It's pretty cool. It's remarkable, even. I think, and as is often the case, the technology is not playing wonders here. So, for some reason, it seems like my stream chat works on screen on YouTube, but not on Facebook. So I will actually, since it's only going to be me talking here for a little bit, I am going to try to also monitor the chat on the Facebook side of things. I don't know if it's, me being complete shit when it comes to using various tools, or if it actually is shit, or if I should have restarted my computer at some point. Maybe I should, because there is some nice delay here, and if it's delay already on my side of stuff, I can only imagine you might have some too. But it's okay, I think, because we are here, all of us. Fredda, good to see you too. And guys on the Facebook, I will just try to find also this place. So I see Mats, Dave, and some other people there as well. Manu. So you guys who are on Facebook, you should really go to my YouTube channel, which is found. Well, I can point down there, but it's youtube.com/Nephente Talks, and if you write in that chat, it will also be on screen, because, well, fuck me, I don't know why the Facebook chat is not on screen. But in any case, it's great that you guys are here, and I say in any case quite often, because that's one of my many hicks. I now restarted the chat. Maybe that will work, maybe it won't, but well, here we are. It's the 19th of October. It's a Monday, and I've been streaming on Mondays with quite a good frequency, actually, at least once a week since April. And if you have been following my odyssey into the streaming lands, this is the 30th time that I'm on. The first time it was just me and Bismarck. Then it was me and all of Netherbird, almost. Well, all of what is now Netherbird, 5 people, for 2 times. And then it's been me another 27 times. Fuck, time flies. I'm having coffee. If I seem cranky, actually I'm not cranky, but I stopped smoking yesterday just to see how hard can that be after X amount of years of smoking. So it's 24 hours. So that's, I got that going for me. So if life wasn't, uncomfortable enough, well, let's add another obstacle, shouldn't we? So I got that going for me, which is great. And I'm having decaf coffee because it's like in the evening, and I will do anything I can to at least sleep tonight. If I have people from work, no, I shouldn't. Well, I fell asleep during a Zoom meeting today. I admit it. It was a really long Zoom meeting. It wasn't for so long, but I fell asleep. Because this life that we are living, working from home, at least I am, it's fucking boring. And that's why I'm here. I'm bored. I am so fucking bored. But on the other hand, it's we are living in very, very strange times, and it's far from over. I mean, it was bad during spring. Then we had summer, and as a lot of scientists predicted, things would become rougher again as we start to meet more. And with workplaces opening up, people crowding more indoors and shit. So it's this seems to be persisting. I'm not gonna talk too much about it because for some reason it becomes politics as soon as you try to talk, and I try to keep it scientific. But when you have a presidential, guy who doesn't give a fuck about a disease, even when he contracts it himself, then politics can be tricksy, and I don't meddle with that. This is not a podcast or videocast, whatever it is. It's about music, after all. But I am not gonna have any guests today. I'm not gonna show any diagrams on why saxophones suck. It's just gonna be me pondering a little bit. So bear with me on that one. But it's easier for me to ponder stuff if you guys write stuff in the chat. So feel free and invited to do so. I'll miss your Monday talks a lot. It's been a great thing you've done. Oh, thank you, Sylvia. Well, I will, of course, miss them too. But I need a break. Not because I don't enjoy spending time with you guys, because I really do. But I need a break in order to get an idea what I should do next. Because I was just starting in April, and I thought, fuck, people are bored. I'm bored. At least I can spread some music out there, and I've done that in the best of my capacity. But I ran into some problems. That is that you can't really play music because your stream will get banned and YouTube will fuck up your replays. And not that it doesn't bother me that I don't get any, monetary compensation. I've been talking about that. But I want to be able to showcase stuff that I like. I can still do that. But I felt I can't do another 30 without having, some sort of idea what I was supposed to do in order, to provide fantastic content, or at least, to make it feel like I have some sort of idea what I'm doing. Because I'm starting to get the hang of the software and stuff, so now I can actually do things. Okay, I appreciate it. I do. The fact that you guys think it's been contributing something, because of course that's what I want to do. Rina, but at the same time, I don't know exactly which formats have been working the best. Actually, you guys could tell me if there's been, something that's been working better. I mean, I started basically by just bringing along guests, and most of them from pretty, obscure bands. You might never have heard of them, and I think that is pretty cool, because then you can discover new music. And then I had some more established musicians, which is cool, because they bring something else to the table. On the other hand, then I also feel I need to prepare a little bit more. Because if it's people I don't know so well, I feel like, okay, so then it becomes a little bit more like, a formal interview. And I am not a journalist, or I don't aspire to be a journalist. I just want to talk about music. Then I brought, friends, and we had like a trio talking about videos and stuff. It's been me and Nine and Walter, and I felt that was pretty nice, because then it's not just me blabbing. So maybe I should do like I don't know, a format where I do it a little bit differently. So sometimes it's more people talking, sometimes it's an interview, sometimes it's just me talking. Just me talking is the easiest, but it might be also not so interesting for you guys. Even though I'm extremely interesting, it might still become, tedious to just hear my stuff. Guests and musicians were really interesting. Yeah, I think some guests are needed, but it also means that then having guests on, it's a little bit of a logistics, issue there, because I need to book them and I need to, try stuff out with them before. But it also adds some vitality to it. So I think, yeah. So it's about finding the right format, because I don't want to interview people. I really don't, because I'm not a journalist. I want to talk music with other metal fans who also happens to be in bands, or they can be just metal fans not being in bands. I've been thinking about that too. I would love to, bring people on. I have a friend in Egypt who's into black metal. I have friends in Russia into black metal. Friends, all over the world. So then we could talk about the scene in different countries, but then you have time, so it's a lot of stuff to consider. But I will be still on the Facebook side of things. I have my Facebook page, and you're always welcome to write to me there, suggest stuff. I think, in conclusion, I will do interviews. And I will try to do them with, a mix of, or maybe not do them all by myself, bring friends, and we can talk to other friends together to make it a little bit more lively. I'm not sure yet, but I like the fact when there are more than two people on screen also. It also makes for way more technical problems, so I need that. Yeah, guests are great. Don't think you need too much preparation either. Yeah, maybe. Sometimes it's easier if you know people quite well. So then I don't feel any pressure. If I don't know them so well, then I need, in case, the conversation is not so flowing, I need some questions and stuff. I've had interviews that have been, or talks that's been super easy. I've had talks that have been a little bit more challenging. But as long as I like the music and or the person, I don't really care so much about, the production quality of stuff. So yeah, I think, and I have a long list of people that I've agreed to do talks with. For instance, you might have seen, I've been toying with doing this live thingy with Alan from Primordial, for instance. Also does a lot of other stuff. He does his pod, which I think is great. Agitators Anonymous. Check it out. And he really puts it all in there. There's so much preparation going into his pod. I am super impressed. I actually learned shit from it, and of course he's a smart guy, but I never expected, that a musician would put so much time into this sort of more cultural reflections. I really like that. So I need to talk to him about the moral panic of Ireland in comparison to the moral panic of Sweden. And you guys will realize moral panic has been everywhere, not just in the US, every fucking where. And that means that we have that in common too. This music that we love, it scared the hell out of people in the 80s in Sweden. I had supportive, parents who didn't give so much of a fuck about it. But there was outrage in TV and radio everywhere, which is, of course, the best reason ever to go and learn more about this dangerous music. I don't think it has ever worked to tell kids that this is scary, stay away. At least not the fun kids. And I have, I wouldn't say a ton, but I'm sure I have 10 more people that I've sort of said that, yeah, we should do this. So yeah, I have a bunch of guests, and I think my break won't be super long, maybe just a few weeks, to sort things out, find a format. And I think another thing I will avoid is to pre-plan my talks too far into the future, because as you know, life progresses, it becomes, you know, a little bit you feel a bit tied up. So I might present just the week before who I will have online or whatever. And sometimes, I mean, you book a guest, but stuff happens. So that is also like something I've learned, that even if you do plan stuff, it might not always work out 100% according to plan. But I am a stubborn fucker, so if I actually had said that I'm gonna do an interview, I will fix it somehow. It happened with the interview I did with Johan from Tiamat, and I think it really turned into a nice conversation that I had with him. The same with Paris from Chromags, and I think that was also quite hilarious to get his view on, you know, the making of the Type O Negative video and stuff like that. And I really appreciated a lot of the conversations. First off, because I do them mainly because I feel like most of you guys, I'm isolated and I don't meet my friends or especially my acquaintances as often as I wish. So this is a way for me to stay in touch with, you know, my friends, and this way we can also perhaps kill some time for you as well. Yeah, I will do a talk with Alan. We fucked up the scheduling, both of us actually. So we haven't just found time yet. And he's so knowledgeable, so I feel intimidated. So we need to talk about something where I feel I can contribute shit to the table. No kidding. I'm a huge fan of you know, the stuff he does, and he's a great person. I agree, Sebastian from Necrophobic, whom I didn't know prior to talking to him. He really gave me a lot of stuff to think about, and I mean that was fun, and I think that was partly the reason also why I did this presentation where I spoke about the compensation or the revenue streams from stuff like Spotify, because when underground music meets these new platforms, it becomes confusing at times. And I also think we spend so much time talking about, you know, how little or how much they pay, or I mean, it never fails. I was sitting in a cab yesterday. I was going to the studio. I'll be back to that. But it was a guy. He's been doing music in the 90s. And we spoke. I mean, I have long hair. Some people assume, oh, so you play music. Yeah, I do. It never fails. The question, oh, well, so does Spotify actually pay anything? It's like, yes, they do. They do pay something. Not super much, but they pay something. And then it's this endless conversation about compensations. I don't think people ask the same question if somebody's bringing golf clubs and is going to a golf club. It's like, yeah, does it pay? Everybody knows people pay to play golf. But yeah, there is some expectance. Some people expect something when it's music. And of course, like I said, it does pay. And I would say, in simpler terms, the albums that we make in Netherbird, they are more or less like a zero-sum game. So in the end, we get back more or less the same amount of money as the album costs to produce, and I think that is pretty blessed situation to be in. I mean, I get to do something I'm passionate about, and I don't lose a ton of money doing it. But thank you all for listening, and every stream counts. It really does. So I mean, the fact that we have hundreds of people who actually, you know, go into Spotify and listen to our stuff every day, that's cool. But it's never gonna, make us rich, which is good, because God knows what would happen if I was rich. I've been thinking about that at times. When you see people like Justin Timberlake or these guys, who are so rich and are so young and still alive. So like I don't think I would have survived for long if I was, when I was 17 I also was rich. Then fuck knows what I would have done, but wouldn't have been awesome. So I'm surprised that they are so well mannered or boring. So I think it's best for everybody that I'm not super rich. Lyrical analyze segment in some show, perhaps, where you reflect of a Netherbird song. We did, and Black Booba, whom I happen to know is Mats. Good to see you, Mats. Yeah, we did a lyric talk, me, Walter, and Nine, where we spoke about various lyrics that we love. Then we didn't speak about our own stuff. Maybe I should. I could definitely talk a little bit. But if you guys want to hear, lyrical reflections, let me know if there are any Netherbird songs you want me to talk about, explain, or, whatever. Please let me know. So happy that you guys... you could become like Paris. Well, we're all different. There's a very American approach to stuff. But I like the fact that we're all different. Life advice for Nephente. I think that'll... I should be locked up. I think I can give a lot of explanations on how I've done stuff, and then you can make sure to do things differently, and you'll be fine. I have done a lot of cool stuff, but I've done a lot of stuff that I'm not super proud of either. I've been drunk on every continent except South America, but I'm gonna fix that. Not arrested on every continent, but on a few. I will talk lyrics. We'll do that again also. We will also talk classic albums, me and Nine and Walter, because we like to blab, and Walter is from Italy, so we can also talk about pizza and pasta. He loves that. He thinks it's very clever. But he has a PhD, so he can sort of understand why the rest of us are stupid. So he has some tolerance, which is impressive. But and also, of course, I'll bring Netherbird back. I think by now they have sort of gathered their energies to be online again. No, actually, we got life advice banned from YouTube. Yeah, it will be banned. I will be locked up. I think Netherbird, we said that we will be back when we have something to talk about, and we do soon have stuff to talk about, so we will be back. I promise, because the general idea was that we were supposed to be online, but we felt after a few sessions that we don't have so much to say right now, but we got some stuff coming. And I have a cold, and I have spent the last week in the studio. Not going to say much more about that, but I can say that at some point in a not too distant future, Netherbird will have stuff to talk about, and I am quite excited about it. And I know that if you like Netherbird, you should be excited too, because it's going to be amazing stuff coming. So with that, great suspense. I promise not to be offline for too long. Well, Rina, you can ask me about advice on whatever you want. And that goes with everyone in the chat. Feel free to ask me whatever. I will be completely honest within legal limits. The phone-in number. I think this is the equivalent to the modern phone-in. Ask me anything. New Netherbird is coming. Yes. But as always, we will talk more when we can talk more. But Netherbird is very active. We are in a good place creatively. But more stuff when we have more stuff to say. But I've spent a week in the studio, so let's leave it at that for now. My voice is a bit fucked up from cold and that. It's an awful combination. And people wrote, I've been asked by another musician how I work with my growls and my screams. And the thing is, I don't. I never really worked with it. I don't have a technique. When I was like 14, 15, when I started, I heard Napalm Death and I realized I need to do that. So I started. And I spit blood for a few times, and then I sort of got the hang of it. And from that point, I've just, been doing it. But it's super, super hard for me to teach somebody else when they ask me. It's like, so have you heard about this technique? It's like, no. This technique? No. I have no idea what you're talking about. And whenever I see people, advertising, it's like, come to my growl school. And it's a person I never heard of. And, sure. So people I never heard of, they have technique enough when it comes to growling to teach other people. But it's never a person that I know is a good growler. It's always someone else. I find that curious. And actually, I've spent some time in the studio last week with one of, if not the best growler in Sweden, Sverker, who is a producer at Wing Studios and the singer of Diabolical. Fantastic at what he does, especially when it comes to growling. He out-growls me, but I think I can out-scream him, so we got that sort of balanced. So when somebody asks me about, if I can teach them techniques, I have a very hard time doing so. And the interesting thing is that this guy, I will not mention him, he has asked a lot of, friends that he has who are, in prophylactic bands, and nobody can teach. So it's the other people that we never heard of. They can teach the techniques, but I never heard them growl. It's funny. Did we find a new guitarist? Not a permanent member at this point, but yes, we have it sorted out. But we have a lot of guitarists in Netherbird, but we're down to 2 guitarists right now. So now it's Bismarck and it's Tobias, also known as Tinnitus. Both of them fantastic guitar players, but for the live set, we really need 3 guys. So we don't really need a guitarist. We would love to have a guitarist as a permanent member, but at least we got it covered when it comes to live performances. Or rather, we have a few guys who said that they are interested, and we will see how it works out when we get there. We have a gig booked in February, I think, with Mistyrming. You saw my, if you haven't seen it, you should check out the talk I did with DG, who's the vocalist of that band. Fucking talented guy, also smart with opinions about the world. He is one of the really creative guys from Iceland, and pivotal, important person in the Icelandic scene. People like him make a difference. So do check out that talk. And if you haven't heard Mistyrming, you should, because it's great. And Iceland in general has this, really vibrant scene where so much stuff is coming from. Odin. And I guess, bands like Soul Stuff here who really, those that, you need some bands to really succeed, and then the undergrowth comes up, and then there's so much talent there. And I need to go back to Iceland, and I promise to be there for a festival in December. If it happens, I will be there. Otherwise, Iceland will have to wait. There is another reason why I need to be in Iceland, and it's puffin birds. I want to topple them, it's not cool. You cannot topple the puffins, so instead you have to watch them, and they might be the coolest birds ever. So if you don't know what a puffin is, Google puffin and realize that there are at least 2 reasons to go to Iceland: puffin birds and also Icelandic extreme metal. Really cool stuff from there. And I always find it interesting, you know, when a region just starts blooming. It was the same with the things in in Sweden back in the day, when the death metal scene rose and the black metal scene in Norway. All of a sudden, these bands come, and there are so many more that, you know, inspired by and, you know, enabled by, come doing their stuff. That is cool, and you can see that happen in many places. 12th of February in Jönköping, yes, that's when we play with Mysteriuming, and we play also with Voodoo's, which is another fantastic band that I haven't really spoken so much about. Voodoo's, you should check out too. Great, really great stuff. Been touring some with Marduk, and it's a really good pairing. And I also know that Marduk might be out touring now in November, December, despite Corona. We'll see what happens, but I really hope that happens. It will be smaller venues, 200 people capacity, and to see Marduk in such a small venue, fuck, that's in itself a great thing. I see guys on Facebook, just so you know, I can't see if you write in the chat because technology is fucking things up for me. I'm sorry about that, but you can go on YouTube, and then you can also plaster your opinions about whatever. But I will just shout out to a few of you. So it's Dave, Rick, Roman, Jamie, Jari, Kent, John, The Metal Detector, Sandra, Roxana, Caesar, Stefan, Sarah, Carlo, Schmark, Daniel, Inger, Robin, Tony. You guys all rule for checking in. And it's picking up a little bit each time. It's not huge amounts of people watching, which I'm glad for, because I like it. It's personal, but still people find these streams, and I for that I'm both surprised and happy. So that is also why I will keep doing it, because you guys make it fun. I am not a super fun person, but I mean, you guys are good sports, and you pretend, sometimes you write, haha, and that's really nice. And I am a pro guy drinking coffee in my stream like this, because that's what I do. Yeah, so in conclusion, I did 29 streams, and I talked to small bands, I talked to bigger bands, and I have to say, I think the best pairing is when I find people in slightly obscure bands, so it's sort of a revelation to some of you. Or I find people who have, some specific topic we can talk about, like I did with Sebastian, where we spoke about, big platforms meeting the underground music. So themed conversations, obscure bands that more people need to know about, general thoughts and life advice, of course. I think that'll be the format. So I will keep doing it, because I will actually miss this weekly interaction. So I think my break will be short, just a few weeks, and then I will be better and cooler than ever, and I'll have bells and whistles and rotating shots. Everything. I'll go all in. But it's been actually a lot of trial and error as well. So I know these streams have been hard to follow at times, because streams have been ended. My computer has crashed. I bought software for tons of money, and it killed my computer. Now I am on some sort of hybrid computer. I don't even dare to touch it almost in order not to kill it. But it's a super expensive laptop where I'm running. It's a super expensive like Apple computer on which I'm running Windows 10. And that seems to be working. Spam advices for YouTube. Yes, that too. I got it all covered. But how are things where you guys are at? In Stockholm, I can say that things are still... It's been fairly normal. And it's been, as you might know by now, it hasn't been, a firm lockdown or anything. But people have been acting as if it's a lockdown anyway, working from home, keeping distance, not too big crowds. Sometimes it fucks up, but most of the time it's been working. And we don't know where it's going this autumn. Numbers are rising, but it's not super acute, but we don't know. But it's still, surely it will mean that we most likely can't really travel, which sucks. But how is it where you are at? Yeah, because I know you guys are spread out a little bit in Nizhny Novgorod, Spain, and so on. Are you guys okay? Because I'm okay. I'm not overly worried for my own sake, but of course it gets to me because it's not like super fun times. I mean, people are actually getting sick and people die from this, and it's of course that's not so nice. Getting better, starting to go shows a little bit here and there in Denmark and Sweden. Yeah, that's good. Denmark has been doing it little bit. I've been doing it. Been a little bit better off than Sweden, but now it's been tougher, I think. Norway has been doing better, but Finland. So Sweden has really started badly in Sweden, but then it's a sort of become better. We have gigs here, but only 50 people capacity, so only really small gigs or super expensive gigs. Not so much fun. So underground bands, and also what's this face? Fear Is All You Know. Gothic guy. Oh, help me out. What is his name? King Dude. King Dude was stuck in Stockholm, so he did some really small gigs, but I wasn't even able to get a ticket. I don't know if he's still stuck here, if he managed to escape, but he was sort of COVID locked down, so they did some really small gigs. Would have been lovely. And if people are lucky, you will be able to see Marduk do pretty scaled down gigs as well. Yeah, King Dude, correct. Sorry about being so slow. Things are getting worse in Catalonia. Yeah, Spain, it's in general it's difficult, which sucks. And I mean, nobody's safe, and this is tricky shit, and it will take some time. And meanwhile, we can only act as smart as we can and try to find safe ways of entertaining ourselves. And I think this is my way of doing something. I'm not so interested in doing live performances online with neither Netherbird or RIKET. I don't think really doesn't fit our music or what I want to convey. But I mean, if it's the only way, we'll find a way. But I wanted to be more sweaty and close up and move air and stuff. But I mean, some music really works. But then again, scene bands have done good stuff. And I think I didn't see Behemoth. Have any of you seen the Behemoth stream? Let me know if it was awesome. Of course it was awesome. Nergal is a visionary. Like him or hate him for being, the way he is, I am super impressed with a person who can do as extreme music and still, also get some, I don't know, I mean, if you can live from it, you're doing something right, in my opinion. Let's see, no events here, some in Moscow, but not sure. Yeah, Yeah, well, in Moscow, sometimes stuff happens that isn't legal, or it's a funny place. It's been a year now since I was in Moscow last, but I actually really enjoy it, and I really enjoyed it last time. Moscow has become much easier place for a tourist than it used to be. Not so good with streams. I prefer the live gigs still. Yeah, I am the same. But there are some gigs I could. I have a friend who saw Michel Jarre, Jean-Michel Jarre, whatever, the Oxygen guy, who did like a VR performance, and of course, if you can pull it off like that, then you can make something. So maybe for that music it works better. I don't know, when people had avatars and shit, really all over the top. But such gigs tend to, you gotta have a big budget and be willing to lose money. And most of us in the extreme metal underground, we don't have a big budget, and we're not even able. We can't afford to lose money to try new stuff out. So we need something that works. Well, yeah, we'll see. I saw that a Swedish entrepreneur. Actually, one of the guys who started a fantastic museum called Fotografiska, the Photographic Museum, which is also opening up in Berlin and New York. Really cool guy. Has started some streaming platform to support live music. I'm always skeptical when people start yet another platform, because we have a lot of platforms. What we don't have is people that produces this stuff for a cost that we can afford. But yeah, maybe he will as well. So people will try, and will try to find new stuff that works. Musikens Hus, small venue in Gothenburg, opening again with table seating now, I think. Not sure how many they can take. Dining with Netherwood with something. No. I'm sorry, Mats. Yeah, we could certainly dine, but I don't want to play at the dinner party. We're not made for that. Or that's what I'm saying now. In a year, we'll be there. Arcturus did super amazing live streams on Vulture Industries. Those were interesting. Yeah, I saw the Arcturus one, and yeah, they are so strange in what they do, so it sort of suits them, and I think it also suits Vulture Industries. They're artsy, and in both cases also a bit like a theater play, so maybe that works a little bit better, maybe. But I mean, it's also because I'm a little bit stuck in what a live gig is supposed to be. So I mean, if it's just a stage and it's us and 3 cameras, it won't look so fun. So you have to think outside that box, like some bands really have. And yeah, so I mean, in the long run, if this doesn't pass, we'll have to find new ways. New career as a wedding singer, yeah. I can be a divorce singer. I can come and sort of finalize the hell that no, we're done with each other. Yeah, so these are times where we need to think, and I think, I mean, you've seen the streams. I've been doing this, and it seems like you guys are enjoying it, and that makes me want to keep doing it. But it will take, a few weeks for me to start to get some ideas and directions, and then I'll be back. So and the place where you will find it is definitely my Facebook page, like Nephente.official at Facebook. So that's where I'm gonna post stuff, and it's gonna be great. Vulture did play an interesting place and look theoretical. Yeah, of course they did. Is the guitarist still having the longest hair in the industry? The blonde guy? Old chicks love him. I dislike him. Oh, actually, I have no opinion. I've seen him in a bar once. It's okay. They're really cool, but they're a little bit too too artsy for me, but I understand why people like it, and they really go all in, and it's like a theater play when they play live. Really cool. Dirty Deeds Rock Club, been doing small gigs since a while, 50 people, etc. Gothenburg as well. And I think for the real underground, I think we can make do. 50 people. I mean, for RIKET, that works. I mean, we're good with 50 people. The problem is that they can't be all packed together and sweaty and drenched in beer. Then it would be perfect. But I mean, we can definitely do that. Avant-garde. That's the word I'm seeking. They're very avant-garde, and as soon as stuff is avant-garde, girls are like, "Ooh, this is interesting," and I'm like, they are so talented, but I don't understand it. Yeah. But it's good. There's different music for different people, and like I said, and to paraphrase actually Nuno Bettencourt, who is I don't know, the guitarist in Extreme, he said that music you don't get. Music you don't like is music you don't get. So if you don't understand it, you won't like it. So the fact that if I listen to something I don't like it, it's because I really don't understand it. I haven't really gotten to understand it. So I can respect people that really like music that I don't like, because they see things differently, understand it differently. It's cool. So yeah, may include saxophone. Yeah, the avant-garde may really include saxophone. I don't know if it's a law, but you can definitely include saxophone there. You shouldn't, but you could. Actually, I think it becomes a little bit avant-garde as soon as you bring the saxophone, right? So, is Ishan actually also a bit avant-garde, or is he just proggy and impossible to understand for me? And why do I dream about anthems to the Welking at dusk? Why do I dream about that and not saxophones and aha covers? I don't know. We're different. But then again, he needs to pay his bills, and he is a super talented person who is able to explore stuff, and I respect that. Just as, you know, a lot of people can, you know, if you are so creative, it's like the guy from Strapping Young Lad. What is his face? Mats, tell me. Devin. I mean, if you have that much creativity, you can't just do one thing. You can't just do simplistic black metal or whatever. You need to do it all. So yeah. But it might be too clever for me. I might still prefer Nomenon playing basic, crude death metal. Because I get that. I really get that. Yeah, Devin. And the delay is fantastic. It's like 30 seconds delay on stuff. But now I'm multi-streaming it everywhere. Yeah, I know that the Forest guys also have saxophone, and you know. But we also remember how it was when we shared hotel with them. They pulled a fucking fire alarm in the middle of the night, and everybody had to walk out. Maybe the saxophone had something to do with that. No, they didn't bring the saxophone. But they pulled a fucking fire alarm at like 4 o'clock in the morning. Because they're a metal band and they did a great gig. And then fire alarms go off in the middle of the night. That's why, you know, when people is like, yeah, it's the artist hotel. That's the hotel you should fucking avoid at all costs. Because it's never gonna be a place where you can actually sleep. It's gonna be parties there. You go there to party and then you go to your own hotel somewhere else, where there is no fire alarms at 4 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. So life advice right there. If you go to a festival in the city, say you go to the Oslo Inferno Festival, you love it. And then people say, oh, but the artists are living in that hotel. That's the hotel you avoid. That's where you go for the party, and that's the hotel that, you know, you should leave. You can bring an artist to your own hotel, but you should leave that hotel if you want to sleep. Or whatever, be undisturbed by fire alarms. Yeah, I guess you sort of don't remember that. Mm-hmm. You were awake when that happened, unlike me. I also know that. Well, that's life. Even on small festivals, fire alarms get pulled. So that it costed them their entire fee, actually. But that's another story for another time. No, I will never out people's dirty laundry. It's every band has it. I am not innocent when it comes to stuff and fuck ups. I have done my share. And I would do even more if I was able to. But right now we are unfuckified because we can't tour, and that makes it impossible to at least fuck up musically. But so 30 streams. And I thought that, this stuff would have passed us by vacation time. And here we are now, mid-October, and I think I will keep streaming until next summer. So now you know. But I might not do it every week, but I will always do it on Mondays, the same time, 8 to 9, because then, and at least you know when it happens. And if you can join me, please do, because it's not fun when you don't. I will try to get the chat to work on all the platforms, yada, 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 but I can't promise anything. So the place where you find out about the streams is Facebook. Where you go to watch the streams, I would suggest is YouTube. But I will try to make it work everywhere. So I'm gonna wrap this up. I don't have so much, deep insights or promises or anything. I just want to say thank you all, because it's a privilege to share this time, these weird times with you. And since it seems so many want me to continue, I will continue. But I will do at least 2 weeks break. But then I'll be back for season 2. Another 30 episodes. Or 15. Or whatever. Or until, we all can live again and we are bored and will do something else. But until then, I will do this. And the question is then, how are you guys going to survive for 2-3 weeks? Just kidding. You'll be fine. If you haven't watched all my previous talks, they are all on YouTube. And I want you to watch them, not for me, but for you, because you can find some nice interviews and some suggestions about bands and stuff. And I will at some point also, if I'm able to, make some sort of Spotify playlist with stuff that I've, been showcasing. But I wish somebody else could do that. But maybe I have to. I will see. But the most important thing is that I will be back, and it's because you guys rock. But now I am gonna take a well-deserved, if I may say so myself, and I may, 2 weeks off or so, 3. But stay in touch and never be, earlier bed on Mondays. Yeah, we'll see. For 2 weeks then, so rest well. Because then the rest is over. I'm gonna do 7-hour streams now. Yeah, but thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys pretty soon again. And until then, I want you to wash your hands, be smart, keep distance, wear a mask if people want you to wear a mask. Don't if they don't. I suppose we'll one day maybe know if they work or not. But that's for future scientific studies. Whatever. Be smart. Don't post shit on Facebook about conspiracy theories, because that's not what you want to tell people. Oh, I spent the entire, quarantine time by spreading hatred and fear among my peer people. Don't do that. Rather spend that time suggesting good black and death metal bands to other people, random strangers, whatever. It makes the world better. But in any case, I'll be back fairly soon, and until then, I wish you all the best. Puss och kram, which means it's been awesome. See you fairly soon.